Everybody knows who Sonic the Hedgehog is, so there's no need for me to explain anything because everything has already been said about the blue blur. From the first game to the current, Sonic will always be a conversation starter for gamers, right up there with Mario. Today we are looking at the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PlayStation 2. Notice how it says Plus? Well, there are other versions of this game, the first being on the Nintendo GameCube, but today I'll be focusing on the Plus edition of the game collection. Yes, there is an Xbox version of it, but a majority of gamers owned a PlayStation 2, so this was the version that I chose, not that it matters. All the content on both console versions are the same, so there's no need for a comparison.
Okay then, let's pop in this blast to the past. The 16-bit past.
The game starts up with a really catchy tune, both on the title screen and the Attract demo. The menu layout is very nice. The background slideshow behind the icons is a nice touch in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the games before I get too mesmerized with this. I don't know who the composer is for this, but I can tell they put a lot of effort into a good musical score, just for a collection of games. What I find cool here is that before you start up a game, it gives you some backstory and instructions, so you can be prepared for the adventure within each game. First game, Sonic the Hedgehog for the original Genesis. There is obviously no need for an explanation. This was the first Sonic game in the current going series. Gameplay is as basic as it gets. You can spin into and jump on enemies. Your health is displayed by rings, and if you get hit once, you lose all the rings you have been holding. If you can get 50 rings by the end of the level, you can jump into a giant ring and you can go to the bonus stage, which if you can get through, you can net a Chaos Emerald. Get all 7 of them, and you can get a better ending than the default one.
Okay, what was that sound? That's not my fault. That's the game doing that.
I do not know why it does that. It makes that distortion every time I get this far in this game, especially the PS2 version. Never does happen in the original Genesis version. I can't get up there. Fine. I guess we'll never know what's up there then. Nothing really too much to say about the game, it's as pretty basic as it gets, especially for the first game in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Next up, Sonic 2. Now to be clear, this was my first Sonic game that I played, before any of the other Sonic games out there. This was the first game which introduced Tails, Sonic's first sidekick. So much nostalgia. Anyway, Sonic 2 improved a lot from the first game, including a new spin dash to make it easier to build up speed. Again with the weird sounds? Can the PS2 not handle blast processing or what?
Well guys, it looks like Genesis does what Sony didn't.
Genesis does!
I wonder what's down there. Nope, guess not. One of my favorite places in the game is the chemical plant zone. Both the environment and the music really piece it all together. I like the pipe mazes here too. Something is just so satisfying about seeing Sonic going through clear tubes through a chemical plant. Now what do we have here? A sparkly ring around the goalpost? Why not?
Okay, where's my race car helmet? Because this just got intense.
Not just the layout of this, but listen to that tune. Why is it all these Genesis Sonic games have such good music? Is there a science behind it or something? When you complete a special stage, you can get a Chaos Emerald just like the first game. The only difference here is that if you can get all 7 and get 50 rains, you could become a Super Saiyan. The Aquatic Ruin Zone. Sure is lots of water here. Oh god, we're gonna drown! Hurry up! I really don't want to die here! No! Thank goodness. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack there.
Yes. Is there any scientific explanation that a bug could possibly kill you underwater? Okay then, bye. Well, they blocked my number.
Casino Night Zone. Hey kids, Sonic says that gambling is okay.
Gambling is wrong.
Okay, I think I need to stop playing this, or else this game is going to be the majority of the review. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Look at that CGI. It reeks of mid-90s. This is probably one of the only Sonic games I know of to have a file select screen. Nice to know that you can play as either Sonic or Tails individually. Oh boy, Sonic is coming for you, Frieza! Oh, almost forgot. This is Knuckles. He hates Sonic, so he take away shiny stones. Let the game begin. Special stage already? Okay. Wow, Sega really likes the 3D perspective in their special stages, don't they? The objective here, you turn all these blue orbs into red until there are no more blue orbs left. Darn it! Darn it all! Finally, the reward? A shiny Chaos Emerald, as usual. I have no idea what the game was programmed on a PS2 to have input lag. This makes the special stages so much harder than they need to be. Oh hey Knuckles, what are you doing up there?
But why, Knuckles? I thought we were pals!
Next up, Sonic and Knuckles. This was a special Genesis game. It was designed for as a lock-on cart for Sonic 3.
So why is the cartridge like this? Well, it's a long story. Way too long for this review.
Is Sonic the Hedgehog like the mascot for CGI technology or what? There is so much CGI of him now. We get a selection of 2 characters, Sonic or Knuckles. Who wouldn't choose Knuckles? His name is in the title after all!
Ooh, you're in for it now, buddy. You do not mess with the relaxing echidna.
Knuckles, in my opinion, is the best choice here. He can glide through the air. But hey, at least he's not Bubsy!
What could possibly go wrong?
He can also climb walls, which makes getting to hard-to-reach areas so much easier. The special stages here are pretty much the same as Sonic 3, considering it is almost the same identical game. It seems that no matter what Sonic games I play, they seem to have glitches no matter what. Hey buddy, what did trees ever do to you? Don't you dare mess with nature! Also, why is Knuckles on the sign holding his nose? Did he smell a faint fart in the room?
And remember, he who smelt it, dealt it.
These wind birds are the most annoying thing here. They blow you back and you have to get them before they can do it again. An airship? What is this, Final Fantasy IV? Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite music track in the entire game. An animal container already? Oh, okay then. Works for me. Does this one have rings too? Ah! Leave me alone! Flying Battery has probably some of the best level design I've ever seen. I mean, look at this. Spinning poles that you can maneuver on, magnetic ceilings, and cylinders which you can spin around inside. This is amazing. I am also pretty sure it was revolutionary for the era this game was made in. Now we are up to the boss, an animal container with sentience. All you do is just get him to hit himself with his own fists. That is a cool concept for a boss, despite not having to attack him with your own attacks. Here we have a bonus stage. More slot machines? Sega loves to take children's money apparently. Well, it's too late now. The kids already spent money on this great game. Next on the list, Blue Sphere. This one, nothing too special. It's just the special stages from Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Nothing too new here. Knuckles and Sonic 2? Well, it is just Knuckles in Sonic 2. It does make it a bit easier with Knuckles' wall climbing and gliding. It's pretty much the same deal. Next, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Remember the lock-on cartridge? This is why it was designed like that. Here is the short version of the story. Sonic 3 and Knuckles was originally one game, but was divided into two different ones. So they made the lock-on cartridge to be able to play the whole two games in one. With this, you can play as Knuckles in the Sonic 3 levels. Also, the story has been extended a bit from Sonic 3 to Sonic and Knuckles. Next game, Sonic 3D Blast. Jeez, calm down, guy. It's just a video game. This was developed by Traveler's Tales, who made some of the other great games that I played, like Toy Story and Sonic R. Check out the CGI motion in this FMV. This must have blown everybody away in the 90s. Hard to believe this was on a 16-bit console at one time, and it was on a cart, not a CD. The gameplay, as you would expect, is in 3D. All you gotta do is rescue the Flickies and send them through giant rains, while collecting emeralds as usual. The special stage is in a 3D perspective, like the previous games have been. The 3D looks really amazing here. It still blows my mind that this was on a 60-bit Sega Genesis, with no add-ons needed. Sonic Spinball. I hate pinball, I suck at it, moving on. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. This has to be, without a doubt, one of my favorite puzzle games on the Genesis. Columns is okay, but nothing can beat Puyo Puyo. The characters you fight are all from the first episode of The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Scratch, Grounder, Coconuts, and guys that I did not even know had names. Squeal, Dragon Breath, and Sir Fuzzy Logic? This game was pretty much an American export of Puyo Puyo for the Genesis, similarly how Kirby's Avalanche is an American SNES export of Puyo Puyo. But it's not just Sonic games on this collection. They decided on having some other Genesis titles, which are not too bad in my opinion, which are probably considered hidden gems in my opinion. Flicky. This here is an arcade classic title ported to the 16-bit console, which turns out, it's actually pretty fun. All you gotta do is just grab the birds and bring them to the exit, while avoiding all kinds of obstacles like cats and lizards. Nothing much else to it. The game I have highlighted right here is supposed to be Rise Star, but unfortunately I didn't unlock it yet, so I apologize to anyone who wanted to see Rise Star on this review. Maybe in the future I will consider doing a video on it, because it deserves its own video in my opinion. Next up, the Ooze. We get some nice backstory here. Dr. Kane sneaks into a laboratory, finding evidence of crimes being committed by a toxic gas he created himself. Some guys find him, inject him with chemicals, and then flush him down the toilet?
Guys, come on. This is not a goldfish. You can't just expect him to fit through there. I tried that once with my possessed VHS tape of Danby. It just will not go. Why do I even still have this?
So, what is the gameplay like? Well, you're a pile of ooze that can move around. You can punch things with ooze, and you can spit. But spitting drains your health. What is your health? Well, it is your ooze body. Drain too much, and you die. You can also die if enemies hit you directly in the head. You can restore your health by collecting ooze from enemies you defeat, and from areas that have it lying around. There's also power-ups which you can get that make you yellow and go faster. The gameplay here is very unique. Not too many games play like this. I like it. This game is not afraid to be different. It is the most interesting style of gameplay I've ever played. There are switches which can blow up obstacles, allowing you to proceed through the game. Uh-oh, I'm dead.
Well, that's charming.
Last Genesis game on this collection, Comic Zone. Before we get into the game, look at all these instructions just for the game. There was a lot of fighting moves for a comic book game.
Test 1, 2. Sega.
So what's the story? A comic book artist is busy working on his latest comic issue, when all of a sudden, one of the characters comes to life and traps the artist within the comic book. As you would expect from a comic book game, this is a beat 'em up. kind of. Each fight takes place in a panel of the comic book, though sometimes not every panel has a fight. Sometimes you need to solve a puzzle. This is another game that I like. Good fighting action and good art style. It looks like something you would find in a comic. You can also get 3 items to hold. One of them includes a pet rat, which he named Roadkill. Most of the items are actually really useful, depending on how you use them and what situation requires them. The enemies here are full of variety. You got a Spider-Man looking enemy and alien pods, like from the movie Alien. I only got as far as the dragon and the ceiling here, so not much else to go on here. Even when you lose, the game over screen looks really cool. This one, another great hidden gem. Now I know there are some Sega Game Gear games on here, but most of them are just portable versions of the Genesis games with some minor differences. Sonic 1 is the same as the Genesis, Sonic Blast is Sonic & Knuckles but with really bad 3D, and Dr. Robotnik's Beam Me Machine on the Game Gear has some extra modes, but nothing else too special. Other than the games on this entire collection, the bonus material is kind of interesting, like the bonus features on a DVD. There's comic books, manuals, illustrations, and even some unfinished and completed cinematics for the Sonic Heroes game.
So, as much as I love this game, I would still pick something more recent over this, like the Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection, which has more games, and even some interviews with some of the game programmers. But if you want to go even further, try getting the games in their original formats, that classic Genesis cartridge. So, have these games aged well? In my opinion, yes. They're still fun to this day, and you can play them if you're bored or whatever. If you can look past some of the sound emulation and input lag issues, then I suggest picking it up. But if not, you can pick up something more recent like the Ultimate Genesis Collection for either PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone later.